On Thursday, May 16th at 4 p.m., I call this meeting to order. I'd like to remind everyone that in the room that this meeting is being broadcast, and I'd like to please to silence any of your mobile devices. Lindsay, would like to call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Cashel.
Here.
Commissioner Corey. Absent. Commissioner DeMambro.
Present.
Commissioner Duran. Absent. Commissioner Jolly.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Soccerellis.
Here.
Commissioner Stokes.
Here.
Chair Papalato.
Present. Could we have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting on March 21st?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's passed.
First item on the agenda we have under new business is the request for signage for hearing impaired and legally blind child near 3 Loch Road.
So there's been a lot of discussion on this item here. I know that I've been in touch with Superintendent Duran this afternoon and several other times, and he's out looking at the roadways, and I think there's a general feeling that it's needed up there. We can have a general discussion around that, but at some point, I think we should go ahead and look to approve this if the board's okay with that, so we can get that in motion and get the sign out there. So, how would we like to proceed on that? Any discussion?
Yeah, I actually live in that neighborhood, so the traffic through the neighborhood has increased quite a bit with the one daycare down on Lexington Street. And I can only imagine once that other daycare goes in up on Cambridge Road, it's going to increase the flow of traffic, and people, they get lost in the neighborhood, they're driving all around, so I think it's a great idea to put the signs up, because they do have a child that's has hearing and visually impaired.
Okay.
Jim Papalato, I went up there, I took a look at it, it's a straightaway. There were a few cars that came barreling down that road while I was up there, because I was parked on the side. And I see no reason why we shouldn't approve that. I'm in favor of it.
Anybody else want to comment? Would anyone like to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the signage
Second?
Per DPW Superintendent discretion.
per DPW Superintendent Duran's discretion of what fits our ordinance municipal code, for 3 Loch Road.
Okay, do we have a second there?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's passed, so we'll turn that into, over to Jay to reach out and figure out where the location is, what the sign should say, those types of details will come out as part of that visit.
Next item on the agenda under new business is the request to move crosswalk on Beach Street at the intersection with Maple Avenue to other side of Maple Avenue. I believe the petitioners are here.
Okay, would you like to come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and let us know what you'd like to accomplish here?
Hi, my name's Don Labby and my wife Paula. Mr. Jolly, I remember you from soccer years ago.
Oh, yeah, how you doing?
Good to see you again. Yes, so we've been living on Local Lane for 31, 32 years, and on Beach Street before that. And we frequently use the crosswalk to get from Beach Street over to the cemetery to provide a nice location for us to walk and enjoy the outdoor air without all the traffic and the like. Recently, my wife's become a little mobility impaired, and so the challenge of the sidewalk has been increased because of the curbing that's on the west side or the northwest side of the Beach Street. And so it became more of an issue with us, so we're having more challenges to get across using that crosswalk. And so we just looked at the area, and it looked like the opposite corner, which was just 40 feet away, had an opportunity there to, with the recently modified sidewalk on Maple Avenue, they've taken the curb away, and so there's no curb to step over to get across Beach Street. And it's only 40 feet away, and it is the most frequent way people cross the street, but we tend to want to use the crosswalk because it takes us quite a bit of time to get across the street, and the cars seem to respect the crosswalk more than walking 40 feet away from the crosswalk, so it makes it easier for us to get across. We wouldn't be able to get across at all if there were no crosswalks, so we really appreciate that there is a crosswalk. So we're looking to see if we could move that crosswalk to take advantage of the existing no curb access to the crosswalk. And also, one more thing, there is an existing sign that handles the traffic coming from Salem Street up Beach Street from the southeast. And that sign is really very visible. I've noticed when I'm driving at nighttime and the lights of the headlights of the car are kind of directed upwards as you're in that direction, correct? Yes, you can see that sign pop out in the evening quite ahead of reaching the crosswalk. So the sign that exists on that side is very helpful. It's right by that second pole there. Yeah. And the other side, though, doesn't have a sign. And the cars are coming around a slight curve there, and there's no sign to give them any warning. So people that are in the crosswalk, they don't really know that. They haven't taken any preemptive action to slow down. So we were requesting that they add a sign on the other direction coming from the Mishawam Road side of Beach Street, so that that crosswalk is clearly identified before they reach the intersection. And I think those two modifications would dramatically make it an improvement, particularly for the handicap impaired and those of us that are a little slow in getting across the street there. And so that was primarily what we had. I had a couple of handouts, but this photo stuff is just fantastic, so I don't think we really need to do that. There was an accident there, a pedestrian accident there about 10 years ago in the police reports. Tina Everberg, I think she might have been pushing a carriage at the time, and I'm not quite sure whether the car was coming from the northwest or not, but there was an accident that we know of in that area, pedestrian accident. So if we could make some improvements there, that would really make things much better for us and also for other people that are mobility impaired.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
The other thing I noticed, Mr. Chairman, is that crosswalk is indirectly behind two driveways. So anybody backing out of those two residential homes could stand the chance to accidentally back into somebody. There's one right at the nose of the pickup truck on the right-hand side, and where the Chrysler 300's parked, that's the second driveway. I would be in support of taking and relocating that crosswalk. My only question is, if you can go from the far right side closest to us on the other side of the street, and go diagonal across Beach Street and to connect just in front of that gate. I'm not sure if Superintendent Duran's gonna need to take and require a curb cut, or if he can use that berm that's already existing, I'm assuming for handicap accessibility that's already existing at the gate of Woodbrook Cemetery. But I would be in support of that in lieu of whatever Superintendent Duran requested.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to point out too, that the existing crosswalk has no handicap accessible
Not at all.
design to it, so it's not really a big deal here. We're not having to alter curbing to change it. And so that crosswalk needs to be modified anyway, and.
Technically, it's illegal.
Right.
I'm,
It's probably on the list.
right. I was up there just before I came to the meeting, and I think that maybe the Disability Commission needs to, be brought into the fold on it, because I definitely agree that the crosswalk should be moved to this side of Maple Ave, and also maybe, like John just discussed, maybe get the legal handicap ramps put in, to make it accessible. Because right now where the crosswalk is, it goes across the street to nowhere. There's no sidewalk going down Maple Ave on that side. The sidewalk going down Maple Ave is on the side where they want to, that they're requesting the crosswalk be moved to. So basically you cross there, then you gotta cross here to get onto the sidewalk.
And, you know, when you really think about this, they probably put the existing sidewalk, crosswalk where it is on Beach Street, because it does offer more line of sight for both pedestrians and vehicles, you know, so,
More of a straightaway.
yeah, pulling it closer to Salem Street, you know, there's a grade change there too, so they probably were looking for the longest sight distance they can get out of it. If we leave it up to the DPW, I think working with the police, you know, that may be an issue, but, you know, one thing for sure, that crosswalk does need to become handicap accessible, so
Yeah,
it's,
definitely.
it's not up to code.
Anything else? Any questions, comments? Jay Duran, Superintendent Duran apologizes for him not being able to attend, and he would like to make a site visit out there as well, just to view it and make some recommendations to this board. So what would the will of the board be? Are we okay pushing this off into the next meeting and getting some feedback from Duran and Jay Corey, or do we want to take action on this today?
I'll make the motion that Jay Duran, Superintendent Duran, go out, make the site visit, and then report back to us on our next regularly scheduled meeting. And maybe at that point, we could take a vote.
Okay, so we have a
With-
second?
Yeah,
Oh, good
and I
side.
just want to add to that too.
Is not-
They should take into consideration, is this safe enough sight distance by moving this closer to Salem Street, or does that create another problem? You know, it
I
may
would-
not, but I'm not sure.
I would just argue, or not argue, but take into consideration those two driveways that are
Yeah.
existing. So there's kind of technically what you have is a 1, 2, 3, you know, you got 4 problems right there where the existing crosswalk is, as opposed to line of sight. I think being where that van is, you know, coming around the bend, I think, you know, you're gonna buy more line of sight if you were to move it 40 feet, you know,
Move it
to the
south.
south.
Yeah.
Matt,
Because
could you
that is quite a bit of a distance. You know, you got a pretty good line of sight. You can see where that car is in the southerly, that right there where Matt's queue is. That's a pretty substantial line of sight. And it's clean, and to Mr. Jolly's point, that's the side with the existing sidewalk, on, what's that street?
Maple Ave.
Maple Ave. So, I just think it's a
Yeah.
win-win to have that thing moved. The only,
So Matt, move the, go towards Salem Street. There we go.
You still have pretty good
Yeah,
line of sight.
there's
That's pretty good
plenty of
straightaway.
line of sight.
so there is a curb cut right there. If we were to
Yeah.
take, Matt, can you just shift to the right just a shade? So technically, it almost looks like there's enough of a transition there, smooth transition for accessibility. And there's about a, 6-foot swath there
Yeah.
before you get to the curbs, so it looks pretty good for handicap accessibility.
I would suggest, not to force a modification of motion, Just by-
It was never seconded, so
yeah, so by the visualization we're looking at, we do have clear sight distance, and, you know, you make the case that it's much better to have a crosswalk at that location than the other, and just to have them implement that when they have the resources to do it.
So do you want a report from Superintendent Duran?
No, I think we have the evidence that we need visually here,
Okay.
that we could make the motion for the DPW.
So I'll withdraw my motion, Lindsay.
it was never seconded, so I assumed it died.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what's the new motion?
If you want me to.
Go ahead.
So the motion will be that the DPW superintendent, upon conducting his site inspection, it is the recommendation of this commission that he move forward with moving the crosswalk in the proposed location, which is the east side of Maple Ave.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, that's approved. One other note, just to let you know that Counselor Mercer Bruin contacted me today, and she tried to get here but wasn't able to. She has a medical situation she's dealing with, but she just wanted me to know that she was supporting this, and she'll be back when we reconvene the next time through.
You're not reconvening, you just dispelled it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You're not, you just voted to approve it, so you're not, you won't reconvene on this
Okay,
again.
okay. Understood. So I'll convey this back to her as well.
Thank you very much. She was very helpful in giving us the process.
Okay, so I think those are the only, are there any other agenda items out there, Madam Clerk?
There are not. But did you want to speak about the summer?
Yeah, there was some discussion earlier around the meeting schedule coming up, and I think typically the July and August meetings get canceled. So any discussion around that or a motion to do anything there?
I would make a motion that for summer hours, our last visit will be in,
You just want to cancel the July and August?
yeah, cancel July and August, and we reconvene in September. Third
Okay.
week.
Do we have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's passed, so we'll skip the July and August meetings. There will be a June meeting, though. I believe we've completed our agenda, and do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.